This is the Frederick computer workstation from IKEA. It's about 150 bucks. Now when I looked up this desk online, it said the maximum height of the desktop was about 38 inches, which would be too short for me. But you can really jack this desktop all the way up to this top bar, which is way too high for anybody. They probably say 38 inches for a safety feature, because as the desktop gets higher up, it gets a little more wobbly. If you put it to the very top and tried to do chin-ups with it, it would probably come down on your head. Since I'm not going to do that, I don't care. You got the monitors up top. The original monitor stands are about the right height, so I just put those back on. All the networking stuff blinks at me, so it kind of looks a little bit like you'd expect to see in Darth Vader's bathroom. Desktop. Now this, I'm about 6'2", so this is up very high. And my arms are slightly bent downward, which is what you want. You want them parallel with your elbows or slightly downward. You don't want to be reaching up to the keyboard. Down on the bottom, we've got the old Dark Tower. Now this is kind of cool where it is here, because I can just pop that side panel off and get right in there to the innards, and I surprisingly go into the innards quite a bit, and PlayStation and the other stuff, and a little filing cabinet. Now the filing cabinet, besides needing one, it doubles as a foot stand, and a foot stand is handy with a standing desk. Gives you an opportunity to shift your weight from one foot to the other when your legs start getting tired. Now over here to the side, look at this genius. See, you need this particular USB cable, you pull it up, you plug it in, push it back down, it's out of your way. Same on the other side. That was all the cable organizing I did. If you can see back here, my usual spaghetti nest of cables. Takes a big man to properly organize his cables. I am not a big man. Hi, it's Tobin. This is part 2 of the standing desk. You just took a look at the Frederick IKEA workstation. The nice thing about this desk is if you were to try this as a standing desk and it didn't work out, the desktop can go down to a regular desk height, and worst comes to worst, you've got yourself a new desk. Skip to the end, the conclusion. I can't recommend a standing desk enough. It has been fantastic. I wouldn't go back to having a sitting desk in my office again. The benefits I've seen, well, energy related. You have more energy, less fatigue, more focus. I'm not a bio anything, so I am not a doctor. I'm sure there's an abbreviation for that somewhere along with that. I am not a lawyer. But I've done a lot of research, and as you sit, it does bad things to different chemical levels in your body. It makes you very fatigued. It makes it harder to focus. And notice that in things like, you'll see something on Reddit, and you'll follow it over here, and follow it over there, and do some more research on the other thing, and 2 hours later, you really can't remember anything you just looked at, and you haven't gotten anything done. And as creative people, and I think programmers are creative people, your mind's subject to wander a little bit anyway. You sit for 6 or 8 hours, and it's just worse. So, more energy, less fatigue, more focus. Overall, the time at the computer is just more productive because of those things. Now, physically, I've noticed after just a single day, my posture was better, just after one day. And I'm a tall person, and tall people tend to slouch. Well, we hit our heads on things for one thing, and try to make short people feel better. We tend to slouch. So, notice just after one day, my posture's better, and it feels better. People told me it's better. So it's been very good for my posture. It's very good for the back. I was very interested in that. I've had lower back issues before. Sports related, if you can believe it. It was a basketball injury that it's basically just a lower back thing. It's very common. I haven't played basketball in a long time because well, the last time I was out playing it was with coworkers, and the way I was abusing them on the court started to feel a little awkward. We won't name any names. Andy, Jamie, Ron. To this day, they still think I'm right-handed. So it's been very good for the back. As an example, recently saw a concert at Verizon Wireless. We're out on the lawn, so it was pretty much a lot of standing. Normally standing that long would bother my lower back, and it just didn't. In fact, I had to sit a lot less than the people I was with. Doesn't matter what bands we saw in concert. It's not really relevant. It was Def Leppard and Heart. My wife's really into 80s bands, not necessarily the good ones, but sometimes you just have to man up and take one for the team. Because after all, the team is totally worth it. It's been very good for my back. Now, the downers and the things you'll have to get used to, you would think it's your back or something else that would bother you the most at a standing desk. It's your feet. Your feet will kill you the first week or so. I'd read that before I started and thought, nah, it won't be your feet. It will be your feet. Your feet will kill you. Your feet just aren't used to holding up your weight for that long. So it's you might notice some problems with your feet. It's not really an injury kind of thing, but your feet will get very sore. So you just have to push through that. After about 2 weeks, that'll go away and your feet will get used to it. So that's the biggest thing. You'll notice your back will get tighter, but it's kind of your back's exercising kind of tight, not an injury kind of tight. Same thing with your legs, but you'll get past that after a couple weeks. And once you do, having all those things will probably be better for you anyway. Now, I would go with bare feet if you can. And setting this up in an office at work, you might not be able to, but it's just better for your feet. There's a whole, you can look up all this barefoot running and hiking and walking stuff, but it's just better for your feet. So go barefoot if you can. If you have a hardwood floor, put a foot pad on it, something to cushion your feet. I have carpet, so it's not wasn't a problem. But if you have a hardwood floor, first I hate you, but get a cushion down on it for your feet. And it helps too if you have something to put a foot up on so you can kind of shift your weight around. You will still need a chair from time to time, especially toward the end of the day. You might get tired. What I do, since I have a chair that's doubles as a chair and a drafting stool, but it's still not high enough to get to where my desktop is comfortably, which in a way is good. It keeps you from jumping in your chair and just forgetting all about standing. So I have a chair. I'll go sit in it from time to time. If I need to do something, I'll just take my netbook. If I need to do something hardcore, I'll just do X11 forwarding from my workstation to my netbook, and I might do a screencast on that sometimes. That's a very handy thing to do. You'll still need to sit from time to time, but as you get used to it, it'll be less and less. When you first start, you might be standing 4 hours and sitting 4 hours. Now I probably, at home, put in an 8-hour day at home, I probably stand for 6 hours and maybe sit for, an hour or two, or somewhere around there. So you'll get used to it very quickly. In terms of ergonomics, your desk height should be, your arms at the keyboard should be parallel to your elbows or slightly lower. You don't want to be reaching higher. That's not good ergonomics. In terms of your monitor height, I've read different things as to what's the ideal, but it's generally somewhere your eye should be about at the very top of your monitor to about halfway up to the top of your monitor, somewhere in the top region of your monitor, and that's about where mine are. So make sure you get all that right so you're not straining your neck and you're not straining your arms. But again, I can't recommend it enough. I've noticed a lot of good benefits, and the IKEA workstation is actually, it's a pretty good workstation anyway, but it's a good way to try it without spending a whole lot of money. I've seen people buying multi-$1,000 mechanical auto raising, too much money. So this has been a really good experience, and I can't recommend it enough. I've read other things, other types of benefits I didn't really experience. Some people have said it's good for weight loss. I didn't really notice that, but I'm started in fairly decent shape for the most part. What the things like that. You might experience different benefits. You might experience different physical things, or like Mio's my feet. If you're a runner, you may not notice your feet at all. So you'll notice different things, but I can't recommend it enough. So if you get an opportunity, you should definitely give it a try. Alright, this is Tobin, signing out.